Welcome to the Day of Awakening. I'm Pastor Louie Martinez. Invite you to stay tuned. I will be speaking on the living in covenant, the key to your promised inheritance. In Genesis 15:9 through 18, the Lord said unto Abram, his name had not been changed yet, so his name was Abram, bring me a heifer, bring me a goat, bring me a ram. And Abram brought these to him, cut them into two, arranged the halves opposite each other. And when the sun set and the darkness was fallen, a smoke fire pot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the two pieces. Actually, it was God passing through the sacrifice. And on that day, the Lord cut a covenant with Abram, underlying the word cut. Then let us go to another scripture in 1 Samuel 18:3 and then 23 and through 18. Another covenant was cut. And then Jonathan and David cut a covenant. Jonathan took off his robe that he was wearing, and he gave it unto David along with his tunic, even his sword and his belt and his bow. The two of them cut a covenant before the Lord. So now we have two covenants here taking place. If we want to recover our lost inheritance, few things are more important than covenant. The Hebrew for covenant, berith, that is one of the central truths that God entrusted the Jewish people with. In Romans 9:4, we see Paul speaking here. And it says that both the glory and the covenant belongs to the Jews. Above else, the Jews are the covenant people of God. They are literally berith, which means the sons of the covenant. The Jews are the only ethnic group on earth whose very identity is based on the covenant with God. And God's covenant with Abraham, Moses, defines who the Jews are and what God has called them to become. And so, while many ancient people understood the covenant, no one understood it better than the Jews. So much of the Old Testament was written in steel, and in them understanding what it meant to walk in the covenant. We need to understand exactly what the covenant means for you and me in this day. God is shedding light upon as never before on His Word. And we find that enlightenment is coming. And we see the menorah. Menorah here is a type of giving illuminations. We find that it had 7 candles, and each candle represents the 7 stages that the church is going to go through in this end time. And I know there's various opinion on that, but nevertheless, God is giving enlightenment to the church as never before. The covenant is also the foundation of our walk with God. The Bible declares our relationship with Jesus in terms of a marriage. We are the bride and Jesus is the groom. And that is a covenant relationship with God. And we know that He is coming for a church without a spot and wrinkle. And we know We are the bride. He is the bridegroom. The covenant relationship with God. God is a covenant God, and we are a covenant people. You can understand how to relate to God. What you cannot understand how to relate to God. He says, without understanding the covenant in this day and time, we might feel, what's going on in my life? Why are things happening? Why do I need healing? Why am I not prospering? Understanding the covenant of God will give us the answer. One of our biggest problems in the church is the Christians don't understand the covenant. We are living in a society that does not have a conception of the covenant. In our culture, we do not make covenants. We make contracts. When we buy a car, we have a contract. When we buy a home, we have a contract. When we take things in credit, we have a contract. And only from the covenant we have is the covenant of marriage. And most don't really understand what that covenant means. One out of two marriages go by the wayside. So you see, do not take the covenant of God serious, or do not understand what is written in the covenant. Most churches don't teach about covenants, and some may use the word covenant but never get down to the specifics on what it means. Covenant is a part of our lost inheritance. Let us see the importance of the covenant. Not understanding the covenant makes it hard to walk with God. And many Christians think of God this way. God accepts me, but He doesn't really like me. I have to watch my step. And there is an angry God in the sky. It says ready to beat me with a big stick. Other Christians think that God's commitment to them changes from day to day on the basis of their behavior. Their walk with God is reminiscent of the lines of the children recite when they pull the petals off daisies. He loves me, He loves me not. He loves me, He loves me not. That's no way to walk with God. You can never walk in faith until you understand the levels that God commitment to you. Let us take a look at the values of the covenant. The men and women in the Bible understood the covenant. In the world of Bible, the covenant was a common thing. Abraham, Moses, David, Peter, and Paul all knew what it was to make a covenant. They understood the penalty of breaking a covenant. It could even bring death. One reason the covenant was important in ancient world was because the world then was a dangerous place, even as it is now. But then, they didn't have no police forces to protect us. Warfare was constant. Every city was surrounded by high walls, and they were protected. Inhabitants of the enemies. And in that world, it was essential to know whom you could trust and whom you would stand with you in the time of trouble. The key to security in the lawless world of covenant, we find that in Genesis 26 and 28. We see that Isaac and Abimelech made a peace covenant by cutting, it says, by cutting a covenant. In Genesis 31 and 34, Jacob and Laban made a covenant also. I see that my time is up. And I want you, this is Pastor Louie Martinez. I will continue this series. This is Louie Martinez. He said, please send us an email or Gmail to louiem1547, he says, at gmail.com. God bless you, and thank you very much.